Good morning, everyone. My name is Dominica Merchan, and I'm going to expose you our article called Development of an Arcade Controller for Children with Intellectual Disabilities to Improve Fine Motor Skills Through Video Games. This study was carried out by Alejandro Enriquez, Víctor Uguña, Paola Suquilanda, Vladimir Robles, and me. This is the index of its presentation. First, we have an introduction about fine motor skills, then the related work, a proposed method, the results, conclusions, and future work. Fine motor skills are the coordination of movements, muscles, bones, and nerves to produce small and precise movements, especially with hands and fingers. The development of these skills is important in preschool ages to perform various social and personal care activities, such as dressing ourselves, eating, and even for communication, due to we also express ourselves through the movement of our body. The stages of motor development are the same in children with and without disabilities, but there is a delay in this first group because motor skills are directly related to the level of disability. This suggests that some intervention or some therapy is required to help these children to develop these skills in a correct way. Recent studies has proved that different stimuli as playing music, playing videos, or showing toys in therapies can improve the level of response on people who has some disability. And also the inclusion of video games as a training tool has gained a lot of popularity for practicing motor skills because its novelty, the diversity, effort, the feeling of success, and the enjoyment. However, this study has focused on improving just gross motor skills, and there is a lack of information, and in general, there is a lack of research of improving fine motor skills using video games, even knowing that this is a really important skill that children should develop. So for this study, we built a system that we called RetroPie Arcade Controller. That consists on an ergonomic joystick to be used with the whole hand and 6 well-speciated buttons to make children to move through the whole space. Also, it has a microcontroller in charge to control the light indicators, a Raspberry Pi with a RetroPie operating system to emulate an arcade and to read the signals from the joystick and the buttons, and finally, a television to display the video game. So, with this controller, we take as an advantage the characteristics of the video games as novelty, diversity, the effort, for children to exercise and coordinate the movements of their fingers, their hands, and their arms, and also to improve their hand coordination while they are also interested in doing this therapy, because for them it is still just a game. So in the experiments, to measure the effectiveness of this proposed therapy, we worked with 2 children from the Institute of Brain Paralysis of Ushuaia, called IPCA by its acronym in Spanish. And the participants were 2 7-year-old children, both with intellectual and physical disabilities. In the case of the first patient, the patient number 1, he had a low intellectual disability, while the patient number 2 had moderate intellectual disability. And both of them have lower limb disability and fine motor disability. Before the kids received the guidance for the use of the RetroPie Arcade Controller, both participants were tested with the TEPSIS coordinations of tests to evaluate their level of fine motor disability. Their results were compared with their evaluation after going through the therapy with the proposed method to see if it existed an improvement of the fine motor skills. So, the whole therapy consists on first a session management, taking in account the children's profile and defining the duration of the session. Something that is important is that the therapists recommend that sessions to not be longer than 45 minutes, because after this time children start to lose interest on the therapy, and also the movements made on the exercises starts to be mechanic, and this kind of movements won't help the kid to improve his fine motor skills. But with the proposed therapy with the retrobiarcade controller, children were interested for longer than an hour, while they were exercising their hand coordination, the digital grip by using the joystick, and also gaining some reflexes through different stimuli from the video game. So here we have the obtained results after just one session of therapy. The patient number 1 obtained an improvement of 0.13 on his score obtained in the TAPSIS coordination self-test, and the patient number 2 obtained an improvement of 0.25. These results were obtained before and after just one session of an hour with the therapy where we applied the video games. And this suggests that there is an improvement on the coordination on fine motor skills on these children. We also created a graphic with a score based on the time used by the patient 1 to complete each activity on the TAPSIS self-test. And we compared the times or these scores obtained in these activities before and after the therapy, with the score of a third patient of the same age but without any disability. So as we can see, the score of the patient 1 is lower than the score obtained by the patient 3, but it increases after the therapy with the video games. So these results obtained by this study reveal that the proposed therapy with the arcade controller can improve the fine motor skills of children with intellectual disabilities in the short term. However, as is suggested in the literature, the frequency of the interventions influences the effects of the therapy. Therefore, future work will be required to study the long-term effects of the proposed therapy with more frequent practice episodes. Thank you very much.